next guest is one of the most controversial people online.
25-year-old Bonnie Blue from Derbyshire is making headlines around the world for filming herself having sex with teenagers and posting the footage online. She's been labelled a predator and has even been banned from Australia and thrown out of Fiji after planning to recruit the young men that she describes as barely legal to film with.
Bonnie says she's not doing anything illegal and doesn't sleep with anyone under the age of 18, but her critics say the men she's targeting are too young to understand the repercussions of what they're doing.
So is she just a content creator making money or a dangerous predator who should be stopped? Bonnie joins us now alongside Ashley James. Good morning, ladies.
Hi, morning.
Good morning. So first of all, let's start with you, Bonnie, first of all.
Yeah.
How did you end up in this business and how did you describe your job?
Okay, so didn't know too much about the industry before I started, and it's as simple as filming videos and putting it online. I guess that's how I started.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
But you had a job in recruitment, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
So, well paid?
Yeah, average, sort of average pay, average annual leave, the whole thing to summarise it, average.
OK, fair enough. So we've been talking, as we've mentioned in the show today, your salary, what you earn at the moment is upwards, you've let me know, of £600,000 a month.
Yes.
I would change careers for that kind of money, but I'm not sure I'd do what you do. Why have you decided that this is the route you're going to go down? Is it just about the money?
So it started off as just the money, because I didn't understand pleasure in sex as such, or I didn't understand the educational side of things. So yes, it started off purely around money. But then as I got into it and as I educated myself in the industry, not only did I realise how much pleasure I received from it, but also how much there's a missing gap of educational, content online.
But how did you, it sounds almost as though you fell into it. How did you end up kind of getting there? Because that's quite a big leap.
It's a stretch, yeah.
So I started off camming. So when you go on these sites online, you can speak to girls one-on-one. I started off doing that for a couple of weeks, enjoyed it, had good money, liked interacting with people. And then I was like, OK, I might set up OnlyFans because I was aware of it but didn't know too much about it. Right. So started off doing like your generic content with other content creators that was established in my area. And then I quite quickly realised how fake and how edited that is. And I wanted to take it that one step further.
Right, you have a very specific niche, don't you?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So, barely legal, 18-year-olds. Because as I started my content, I realised it was not necessarily relatable to the average person. And I wanted to make my content relatable. I'm just a girl, I'm relatable, I'm sort of the girl next door vibes. However, that does not portray online if I'm doing these rough, over-the-top scenes. And I want people to be able to watch my videos and be able to imagine themselves in it and, connect with it.
How old are you?
25.
So you're very young yourself.
Yes.
It must be a minefield for you to navigate to get to where you are. But £600,000 at the end of the month, do you know what? You take the risk and you see what you're doing. You've used the word educate quite a lot.
100%.
Are you educating just yourself? Are you educating these people who are in their teens and, again, 18 and upwards?
So I'm still learning every day. But my content is educational to those that I'm sleeping with and those that are watching it.
And one of the things that you really reiterate any time where I've seen you talk about this at all is you say it's actually one of the safest ways of people having sex or losing their virginity.
Yeah.
Why?
So people say it's an unsafe environment, but I can't think of one situation where an 18-year-old has had sex, where there's security on the door, they've had to bring passport, they've had to sign consent forms, they've had to do a breathalyzer. Right. And then they're sleeping with someone that's educated and understands the industry. So what part of that is unsafe? So
in a practical way, how does it actually work? What do you do? Like, you put a message out and you say...
Yeah, I'm like, hey, boys, this is where I'm going to be. This is my location. If you'd like to make content with me, you're welcome to join the queue.
Right, now this picture...
So hold on. Sorry, Andy. So then people come to wherever you are, guys or girls or anybody.
Don't need guys, but
OK. And they stand outside in a line and then...
A very formal, very British sort of queue style thing, yes.
Right.
Do you never feel frightened? Do you never feel
I'm more
intimidated?
nervous, I think, for the first few. I'm like, don't know what to expect. Because you don't know who's going to walk through that door or who's going to be, in the queue. I don't have set requirements for people. So, I get more nervous, I think, than them for the first few videos.
And I was just going to say, that picture we showed...
Yes.
Who's in that picture? Is that your mum?
No, that's me.
That's you. I'm sorry, I can't see from wherever... But it was your mum that helped make the sign. So
Yes.
you've created, there we are, there's your mum. You've created a family business.
Yes.
And you're kind of, I suppose, do you look after your family? Do you take them on nice holidays?
100%, yeah, like, it's changed my life and it's changed my family's life for the better. And I want to, you know, if I'm having a good day, I want them to have a good day.
So how did they find out about it? Did you tell them? Did you sit them down? And because just putting myself in your situation, I cannot imagine sitting down and having a conversation like that with my mum and dad.
100%. So, no, I was always going to tell them that the video got leaked very quickly. And I was sort of only a week into it at this point. So I was always going to tell them, but I wanted to understand it better myself before I could sit them down and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, here's the reasons why. To start with, they was a bit gutted and was like, you know, we wouldn't choose this for you. But that was at the start. If I ask them now, it's a complete different story. They see how happy I am, that it is safe, and that the main thing is, like any parents, they want their children to be happy, and they can see the change of me, as you know, from working in an office, sitting in rush hour traffic, getting given 20 days annual leave, to now having this freedom and flexibility in life, which most people strive to achieve, but you know, they're not successful enough.
Ashley, you're sitting there. You've got some strong views on this, haven't you?
I do have strong views. I think, look, lots of women will be very understanding of the double standards there are with men and women, how a man's value increases with sex and a woman's value decreases. And I think there will be lots of us that are fully supportive of sexual liberation. I think the issue that people have with you specifically is the fact that you use terms like barely legal. You say that you're babysitting for kids, I think is the word.
No, I've never used babysitting.
Sorry, babysitting for adults. You did in a podcast with Lottie Moss.
But it's like the barely legal, that's what the media gave me. And the media like to villainize
But you also
women.
now use that terminology. You also say that you're educating. But I'm wondering, who are you educating? Because a lot of your audience, especially on TikTok, are teenagers. And we live in a society where the likes of Andrew Tate are on the rise, the likes of incel culture are on the rise. There's a real fear, not only for our daughters, but also for our sons. And when you say you're educating, what kind of messaging are you putting out there? Because also I've heard you use, say phrases such as women are lazy, if they're not going to give sex to their husbands, then those husbands, dads and barely legal teenagers have a right. Women are not the sexual property of men, and women don't exist to pleasure men. And I never hear you talk about female pleasure
because
and how
people
important
like you
it is
that
to
like
be
to
respectful.
sit and try and say, you know, you're listening to the media. The media likes to villainize
I've listened to
women
your
a lot of the
own.
time.
I've listened to your own
No,
words.
of course. But now I'll educate you on the true story of it. There is no content online for 18-year-olds or even people that are new to sex. You go from at school, which you learn about how to get pregnant, basically, how to have safe sex. But then they go from watching content online, which is rough. It's schoolgirls dressed, you know, working with adult content creators, which say, oh, no, I don't want this. It's then led into a very rough scene, which is choking, slapping, hair pulling. So are we only wanting our sons or the younger generation to watch that and try and perform that in a bedroom? Because that's dangerous for women.
I think you're misunderstanding my point here, because I'm not saying, of course, I don't want anyone watching rough pornography.
But why should they not watch that? Because that's also okay.
Well, you're contradicting yourself. My point here is, what are you doing to teach young boys and girls that they don't just exist, women do not exist to please men. Men do not have a right to cheat with partners. But also, how are you teaching young boys that also, like, male pleasure is not the ultimate. Like, there's also female pleasure, there's also respect. Then what are you doing to teach young men that they don't just have an automatic right to sex?
I'm educated. I mean, have you ever watched one of my tapes?
I haven't watched one of your
Exactly.
tapes.
So you're sat here trying...
I'm not being aggressive. I'm actually not being aggressive.
No, you're not, but
you're being
aggressive
back. You're using terms like women like me. I'm asking you questions.
Because you're a woman that promotes women's rights and equality.
Yeah, I do.
Whereas you're not sat here with a guy... Look,
I've also just said to you that I agree with you that there is an unfair double standard. I also think you get a lot of hatred that a man in your position wouldn't, and I'm fully on board
100%.
with that. The thing I'm not on board with is your messaging that men, dads, husbands have a right to cheat. And I want to really touch on this 18-year-old thing. I was a fresher. I was actually at Nottingham University where you went.
Oh, wow.
When I was 18, I remember there was some third-year students that came to my Freshers' Week, and I couldn't believe that someone that old, and they were 2 years older than me, but at the age of 18, you are so young, you're so impressionable,
So why do we let 18-year-olds drive, go to the army, do serious jobs?
Well,
Are
that's
you
quite
wanting
different to lining up to have sex.
Obviously, your moral yardsticks are very different.
Yeah.
Do you think morally what you do is right?
100%.
Why?
Because like I said, there's a massive gap for it. And I'm not saying women are here just to pleasure men, but I'm here saying, hey, I'm a content creator. I love pleasuring men. Watch my videos. So the bigger picture you're blowing up to, that's not my problem. Like, I'm doing what I do best, which is pleasuring and educating.
Blowing up
There's
anything. I'm just trying to challenge you on some of the phrases that
I know, but then you don't even allow me to
used.
respond.
I am allowing you to respond. I'm just trying to, like, get you to answer the questions.
Bonnie, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you thought about the future and where, like, will there come a point where you'll go, that's enough? Or will you maybe have a little boy or a little girl?
Yeah.
And have you thought about that and thought about if you did have a little boy or a little girl, how you would explain that situation to them? Or if it didn't even get to that situation, how if your little 8-year-old boy who went to school and looked something up on the internet, found out, and then all the classmates around. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, like I'm fully aware. Like when you put something online, it can be there forever. I know that.
It never goes anywhere.
100%.
That's the thing, I think. And I think that's why people have a problem with the 18-year-old thing as well, because we all do daft stuff when we're 18. Have you thought about it, though?
Yeah, so obviously things change massively. Like 10 years ago, you would never even have a sex worker sat here. So things are changing massively.
Yes.
And the things I want to achieve is educating people. So by the time, if I do have children, sex workers are not going to be discriminated how they are now. The conversations will be very different. And I've also proven my point in terms of educational content and ethical porn as well, which is currently not something which is shown as much. So yes, they might get picked on at school, but if you're too pretty, if you're ugly, if you don't have money, you're picked on. So regardless, nowadays, children are unfortunately picked on, whereas at least my children, if I do have them and are picked on, it's been for a much bigger picture.
I can't decide with all... I hate that, with all due respect.
No, we've discussed it. We've talked about it. We've thrown it all over the place.
I can't decide whether you're a genius marketeer and you found a niche that in that world of OnlyFans and all those things, you found a niche which is gaining you £600,000 a month, which is, you know, you're like a Premiership footballer. But you're earning more.
I mean, I work with balls, so it's the same
There we
thing.
go. Thank you. Well done. So I just don't... I just can't decide. I just can't decide.
The thing is, she can be
and also
you are a marketing genius.
And you present very well, which makes me think you're very clever, and the whole thing is very clever.
You think, sort of, when you think sex workers, and I did last year, the ditzy or big boobs and big lips. I mean, that's the sort of thing you think of. But it's all the Karens sat at home that are going to complain about me being here that are making me rich because they make it blow up. And then when they're sat at home complaining about it to their, you know, their husbands, they're then wanting to come and subscribe.
Well,
so it's sort of how...
It's an interesting one that we're going to keep debating.
Yeah, wow.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
By two extraordinary world record holders whose stories are just as incredible as their heights.
Yeah, towering at 7 feet, over 7 feet, the same height as a stepladder, Ramisa Gelji is officially the world's tallest woman.
And standing at just 2 feet tall, which is smaller than the average 2-year-old, Jyoti Angie holds the title for the world's shortest woman.
Now, both have travelled all the way from their homes in India and Turkey to celebrate Guinness World Record Day and the 70th anniversary of those incredible books.
And they're joining us now alongside Jyoti's translator, Ravi, and Guinness World Record adjudicator, Joanne Brent. Welcome to everybody. Hello, good morning. Ramisa, let's start with you, first of all. So when you were born, you were a long baby, you were a big baby, you were about 13 pounds.
Yes,
but
I was born as a huge baby.
Yeah, but then by the time you were 6, you were the same size as a fully grown woman.
Correct, yeah. Because I was born with an overgrowth syndrome called Weaver syndrome.
Right.
And, you know, that comes from birth. I was born as a big baby and grew up so fast. Yeah.
And how was life like for you growing up? Because, of course, you're so much taller than anybody else in your class. What was life like for you?
It was not the easiest. For my education, I was homeschooled. for elementary school and middle school, as well as high school. For my virtual education, I completed it online.
And how is that on a day-to-day basis? Because if you're not at school, you're probably not making as many friends as you normally would. So when were you able to use this to your advantage or come to terms with it?
I have to admit that I did not have many friends while growing up.
Yeah.
And I was struggling with my health issues, obviously. But I have a very supportive family and people around me. Yeah. So there was some good days and some bad days.
Yeah.
But now you actually quite like your height, don't you? You love being this tall.
Yeah.
What made the difference for you?
So after being a Guinness World Record holder, I became so much more confident in myself.
Yeah.
And in my height, obviously. And I started to say it, as a blessing, because this is my syndrome, my height, is what makes me an 8-time Guinness World Record holder.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like we talked about earlier on, it's being able to use that as your superpower. It's must be so lovely for you to hear that, Jo, as well, that, that can empower people.
Yeah, and I think that's the story for both. Jyoti would agree as well, that since being embraced into the Guinness World Records family, both of your dreams have come true. They've both gone on to travel, and Jyoti's done some incredible work even in Hollywood as well. And Rumesa does so much work advocating for awareness.
Yeah. Jyoti, let's move on to you through Ravi. How does your height impact your everyday life?
तुम्हारी everyday life पे तुम्हारी height का impact कैसे होता है? मतलब क्या advantage disadvantage है? कैसे लगता है तुम्हें?
मेरी हाइट सबसे छोटी है और 24 इंच है, तो मेरे घर पे जो सारा फर्नीचर है मेरे साइज का है। बस इतना प्रॉब्लम तो बहुत फेस करनी पड़ती है, अकेले बाहर ट्रैवल नहीं कर सकती, अकेले जा नहीं सकती, और जहाँ पे मैं पहुँच नहीं पाती वहाँ पे मेरी फैमिली हेल्प कर देती है।
So in day-to-day life, she get a little bit difficulties to do the things which she has to do every day. But on her home, she got everything according her height, so she can easily reach the things which she want to. Else, when she want to go out, she needs help from the family. She always she needs somebody around her, and if she can't reach the things, she needs somebody to help to do things.
And so, but you've become an actress. It was always your dream to become an actress. How did it happen?
हीरोइन कैसे बनी?
मुझे जो एक्ट्रेस का नाम मिला वो अमेरिकन हॉरर स्टोरी से मिला, और मैंने ऐसे बहुत सारी डॉक्यूमेंट्री किए, और सबसे बड़ा मेरा शो था अमेरिकन हॉरर स्टोरी.
So she got chance because of her height in American horror shows, and that's how her journey will start as actress. And after that, she did many documentaries. And for her, the biggest achievement is the American Horror Show.
Yeah.
And how has that impacted on your confidence? I know you have a big social media following as well.
ये कैसे आपको impact करती है? ये सब चीज़ें आपको confidence देती है?
सोशल मीडिया और सबसे फर्स्ट गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड ने मुझे पूरे वर्ल्ड में फेमस किया, और मैं गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड का बहुत थैंक्स करती हूँ. अगर गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड में मेरा नाम नहीं आता तो शायद मुझे नहीं पहचानते.
According to her, like the best part of her life is to get chance to be a part of Guinness Book of World Record, and because of that, she gained a lot of confidence, and that's how she become like more confident in everywhere, because everybody knows her because of Guinness Book of World Record.
Amazing. So Jo, let's come to you. What was it like when these guys met for the first time? It must have been an amazing moment.
I think the one word to sum it all up is a celebration. Honestly, it's a celebration of differences, and it's a celebration of uniting two of our most iconic record holders.
Yeah.
I mean, at Guinness World Records, we have our Guinness World Records icons who are historical record holders in their own right, but they also embody the values of everything that we value at Guinness World Records. So thank you for being such great ambassadors for record breaking, the integrity you have, the respect, the passion, the fun, and of course, very important, inclusiveness.
Yeah. Rumesa, what was it like the moment when you guys met?
It was wonderful.
I bet.
Wonderful. I was waiting to meet Jyoti for a long time.
Yeah.
Like 10 years.
Yeah.
because I know her even before my Guinness World Record journey has started. And it was amazing. She is gorgeous. She's so lovely. And we became friends immediately. And we have a lot of in common. We both love self-caring ourselves, you know, jewelries, makeup, and doing our hair. Yeah.
I love how you're so different, but you bonded over exactly the same things, like all women and girls do.
We might look opposite, but we have so much in common.
Yeah.
That's a lesson for us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Well, today we're discussing a new tragic story. Last year, Pavan Bhatt lost his grandmother and uncle in a house fire. And just last week, a coroner's court concluded that the fire was caused by an electrical fault from within their hot point tumble dryer.
Yeah, Pavan joined us now alongside Alice. Morning to you both.
Morning, guys.
Pav, thanks so much for coming in. I really appreciate you coming in and telling your story to us.
Thank you for having me.
So, your grandmother and uncle, basically your grandmother raised you, right?
Absolutely.
So, what kind of people were they to start with, just to set the scene for us?
Yeah, I mean, my grandmother was the mother figure in my life.
Yeah.
You know, she taught me pretty much everything I know. She was strong and powerful as a woman. She was very independent. She very much wore the pants in the house as well. So we all listened to her. Yeah. And she sort of, you know, kept that tradition even through my uncle's brain damage, which was tragic. She took the role to take care of him, maintaining her independence. And likewise, my uncle was like a second father to me. You know, he treated me as his own. He never wronged me. So yeah, they were just wonderful people. Yeah.
Now, you weren't in the house that day, but what happened?
So, yeah, I left for work in the morning. So I wasn't there, unfortunately, when the events occurred. From what I know, I was on the train back home. And as I got some signal at the station, I get a call from my neighbor, who has been very helpful. She's been lovely throughout this process, telling me there's a fire. So I managed to get on the phone with her, and the train door shuts and the train moves. So the phone call cuts.
Oh, my word.
And at that point, it was just panic setting in. I get to the next station. I run up outside, get on the phone with her, tell her to, you know, to call 999, message my friends, message my girlfriend to, you know, get to the house. And I'm on my way back. And I don't remember the train journey. It was so blurry. There was a million things going on in my head. And I get back to Edgware Station, and I remember it was just raining, and I just sprint down all the way to the house. I get to the street covered in rain, and it's just, I just see police cars, ambulances, fire brigades, neighbors out. It was like a fever dream.
It's your worst nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like something you see from a film or something.
Absolutely.
And then when did you realise that your grandmother and uncle had been taken to hospital? What was that?
Well, I ran down to the house, and it was all like police taped off. I managed to see my neighbour and my girlfriend there. They sort of brought me to them, and that's when I spoke to, I think, someone from the paramedics, who told me that both my grandma and my uncle were in an ambulance separately. I heard that my grandma was conscious at that point, which I thought was a positive sign. My uncle seemed like he was faring a lot worse. And I didn't get to see them at all for several hours until around midnight, when they were taken to hospital, and then I could finally get to hospital.
And they'd inhaled a lot of smoke. There was a lot of smoke that was there, and soot. But you managed to speak to your grandma. You couldn't speak to your uncle, though.
Yeah, that's right. So my grandma was conscious.
Yeah.
So I got to the hospital. It was around midnight, and I managed to find where she was in the ward.
Yeah.
I saw the minute I saw her, like, her face was covered in like black soot. Her skin was covered in black soot. She was coughing up like black phlegm. It was horrible. And you know, my first concern was, like, are you okay? And what has happened? And the first thing she turned around and told me was, is Deepak, which is my uncle, is he okay? How is he doing? She wasn't concerned for
for herself, but rather for him. So I had to just put her mind at ease, tell her everything will be okay. And then she told me that they were sleeping. They smelt some spices. They thought I was home and cooking. Turns out it wasn't that. And by the time she got up, it was like pitch black in the house with the smoke. She tried to get out, but she couldn't in her confusion.
Both your uncle and your grandmother sadly passed due to that day. I'm so sorry. Obviously, there was an inquest recently. What did you think had caused that fire?
Initially, I had no idea. I don't think I really even processed, what is the cause of the fire. It was more so, are they going to be okay? After they passed, I heard some things of where the fire originated from. For example, it was in the kitchen. There was an appliance there. And then I think I found out at some point that it could have been the tumble dryer. It was a point of interest. And from that, through the sort of process of the inquest with the experts, reviewing this 6-month-old device, which was kept in top condition, it was found that due to internal components or internal electrical faults and bad design, that it was the tumble dryer which caused the fire itself.
Alex, let's bring you in.
Yeah.
The story's so unbelievably sad. How do we know this isn't a huge problem?
Well, we don't yet. And as with so many what turn out to be huge stories, like the Post Office, it's going to rely, sadly, because our country has no good system, it's going to rely on lawyers, and Pavan has an excellent lawyer, the guy at Lee Day, who has done a lot of digging in the past on Whirlpool stories, journalists like myself and consumer organisations, to put the ends together and to ask the fire brigade, to ask the lawyers, to ask the independent forensic scientists, are there any fires of this ilk? Now, in the inquest, there were 3 forensic scientists there. 2 of them said it was the cause of fire was an electrical fault with the machine. Whirlpool's forensic scientist said it was someone smoking a cigarette. And for me, that sort of reflects the amount of engagement that a manufacturer like Whirlpool has in this at this stage. We've asked them for a statement, for a response, or for any kind of engagement. Are you investigating this? Is this a recall? Are there other problems? And we've had absolutely no response. But what we are fighting for is to pull together those cases. We understand that the London Fire Brigade might be looking into some of other cases with this same part in those machines. If it is part of a bigger problem, we know that there are at least 430,000 of those machines, like Pavan's family had in their kitchen, out there in the UK at the moment in homes. And if that particular part, which we suspect was put into other manufacturers' machines, because it was imported from China, used in many different brands, then there could be millions of machines out there. And we're back to the same story where we are trying to engage the manufacturer. Is this a problem? Do you know of any other fires? But around the country, there could be lawyers, there could be forensic scientists, all knowing about other fires, but they keep that advice separate because they're not allowed to disclose it, or they don't disclose it. We don't have that database. So it's really important to tie that information together.
And also really important to know, well, what can we do in the meantime as well? Because obviously this is going to take a while to kind of become a cohesive battle, essentially.
Absolutely.
Let's go now to Sabrina Cohen-Hatton. She's the Chief Fire Officer at West Sussex Fire and Rescue Service. Good morning,
Hi, Sabrina.
Some of these statistics are so scary and so frightening. Can you tell some of our viewers things that they should do? Can you give us some advice so that we react safely?
Absolutely. And just first of all, I want to say to Pavan, I'm so sorry that you lost people that you love that way. I know it takes a lot of courage to carry on talking about something so painful, but you're raising awareness and helping a lot of people. So thank you for that, first off. And I think when it comes to white goods, people don't often think about the risks that can come with that. If you're using hair straighteners, for example, it's really obvious that there's a fire risk because they're hot, but people will use a tumble dryer and not necessarily think about it. And I think there's a couple of things. Firstly, please don't stick your tumble drying on if you're about to go to bed. I know that electricity can be cheaper if you're on a cheaper tariff at night, but if you put something in and then you go to bed and there's a fire, you're not going to know about it until it gets really, really severe. So that's the first thing to say. Also, if you've got a tumble dryer, there's a website that you can register it with called Register My Appliance. And if there's any manufacturer recalls, that will be recalled back and you'll get an alert. So it can be really helpful for you, especially if you've bought something secondhand, for instance, then at least you've got that alert there coming through. But the other thing to say is make sure that you clean your lint regularly. It can build up and that can be really flammable. And also think about how it's plugged in, especially if you haven't got much space in your kitchen. It can be really tempting to plug in an extension lead and another extension lead, and then you've got lots of power-hungry appliances plugged into that. If you can, please avoid that. Tumble dryers are power-hungry. Just plug it directly into the socket and leave it.
Okay.
And when we talk about tumble dryers specifically, is the lint the key thing, do you think, Sabrina? Like cleaning that, making sure that's kind of clear?
It is really important to do because if you leave the lint in there, it can build up and it's flammable. So it is really important that you do that. Another thing that people might not be aware of is if you're washing, for example, rags that you've used to clean up something oily, even though it's been through the wash, you can still end up with remnants in there and it can stay flammable. And actually, tumble dryers get quite hot. So anything in there that might be flammable isn't a good idea. So if you can, if you're doing oily rags, for example, just hang them up on the radiator instead.
OK, thanks, Sabrina. And Alice, you wanted to add something?
Well, we're waiting now for the coroner to issue a prevention of future deaths report, which is really key. And in that, if he names any kind of manufacturer as being at fault or perhaps should take action, then they have to take action. There's no legal comeuppance if they don't, but they have to take action. They have to respond to that report. And we're going to be watching that very carefully to see what that coroner says should be done. And we will, you know, in memory of Pavan's family, stay with this story.
Absolutely. And also, Pavan, Sabrina was absolutely right. Just by being here, I think it just opens up that discussion. We did go to Whirlpool for a right of reply and we haven't heard back.
Department for Business and Trade spokesperson said we've been in contact with the London Fire Brigade regarding these inquiries into the fire and will carefully consider any recommendations the coroner makes. We are clear that all tumble dryers available in the UK market must meet legal requirements for safety. Manufacturers have a duty to monitor their products and should take action if safety issues emerge.
Also, the Chartered Trading Standards Institute said this is such a tragic loss of life and our thoughts are with Pavan and their family. No life should be lost from a faulty appliance and Whirlpool Corporation need to take immediate action to understand which makes and models are affected and make urgent contact with consumers who they believe have these appliances in their home. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Keep up the good work, Alice.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the morning.
Ladies.
Morning.
How are you doing? Now, I think these doggies are just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Bev, tell us, what's your reaction normally like when someone meets Muppet for the first time?
It's one of two. He's very Marmite. They either think he's very cute and lovely, or they go, ugh, what's that? So...
I mean, I have to say how I met Muppet this morning was he walked through the double doors being pushed in a pushchair like a chariot.
Yeah.
It was literally like you going to watch Gladiator last night. It was like you will be entertained.
Yeah, I'm banking on the fact that most of these dogs are well loved.
Absolutely.
And ruined, I would say. So it's a funny thing, Britain's ugliest dog, isn't it? Because it's obviously meant as a term of endearment.
Of course it is.
Because you're interested. So I think it's got what it takes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not often you see a pink dog with a comb over, really, is it?
And it's the tongue. It's the tongue as well. How come the little tongue sticks out? And has it always done that?
Well, he's a Chinese crested, so they don't have side teeth. So when they're canine, when they lose a canine, there's nothing to hold his tongue in anymore. So... Yeah, that's why a lot of them have a tongue out when they get old.
Last year's competition would have become a Hollywood star. So this is Peggy the Puggy, starred in the new Deadpool and Wolverine film as Dogpool and become Ryan Reynolds' sidekick. So therefore, you know, we don't know where this could lead. How do you think Muppet could handle the Hollywood lifestyle?
Oh, come on.
I mean,
he's got a chariot. He will take it in his stride.
Yeah, absolutely. Karen, Alfie, how long have you had Alfie for? Where did you get him from? Was it instant love?
Yes, he's 5. We've had him for 3 years. We rescued him.
Oh.
Yes, and he's a mummy's boy.
Absolutely.
Very spoiled.
And
yeah,
it's a nice-looking dog. Why would you enter this dog into Britain's ugliest dogs?
People say because his eyes are quite bulgy and he's got the... I don't think he's ugly. He's got...
No, he's a gorgeous little dog. Lovely. Now, what about the big boy down there?
Yeah, Louis.
Tell us a little bit about Lubu.
Louis, he's from Newcastle. He's 7-year-old and he's half French, half English bulldog.
Nice.
So he's, got the underbite, but the ears, Frenchy ears.
And did you rescue him or where did you get him from?
No, we got him from Newcastle. We got him as a puppy from when he was like 12 weeks old, so... Yes.
And Suzanne, has he always had that underbite? Because when you just see a normal picture of him, you go, oh, it's just and then he's like that, and then suddenly you see the underbite. He's absolutely adorable with the underbite, isn't it? It's so cute. Do they have that like from birth?
No, Louis, I think he was quite bless him, he's still cute. I never call him ugly.
No.
But he's grew into his unique looks, I think. With age, he's matured,
He's a lovely looking fella.
I think he's beautiful. And finally, let's come to Mowgli. What is it? What's he a cross? He's a crossbreed, Carol, is that correct?
Yes, she is. She's a pug cross Chinese crested.
And what made you choose her?
Well, I just saw an advert and she was the last one in the litter.
Oh.
It was only a puppy.
And what have you guys entered before into Britain's Ugliest?
No.
I haven't.
So what's the community? Imagine the community must be quite welcoming and inclusive and lovely.
Well, it hasn't been great in the UK, but in America it's huge.
As it hasn't been big over here.
No, it's not really taken off as it has in America. I mean, they're on, I think it's the 26th year of the world's ugliest dog contest in America.
America sneezes, we catch a cold, so you never know. And this could be the year. With these 4 cherubs, they're going to turn it around.
They use the word ugly like we don't.
I see.
It's
the badge of honour.
So do they just win a title or is there a prize too? How does it work?
They get a Christmas makeover.
They don't need a Christmas makeover.
A Christmas photo shoot.
Do they do a Christmas photo shoot? Like with little hats and...
I hope so. I hope there's hats and baubles.
Oh, I think they are just wonderful exactly the way they are, don't you?
The winner of Britain's Ugliest Dog, term of endearment,
Yes.
will be announced in December. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
First guest today was one of EastEnders' most lovable cast members, starring as Heather Trott from 2007 to 2012.
But since leaving Albert Square, Cheryl Ferguson has struggled to make ends meet after she was unable to work following a cancer diagnosis back in 2015. So, for almost a decade, she was left spiralling into debt, and earlier this year, she was forced to turn to a food bank for help.
Now, Cheryl is speaking out in the hopes of breaking the stigma for the 3 million other food bank users across the country.
And she joined us now. Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. Lovely to see you.
Nice to be here, yeah, lovely.
So tell us, obviously the public persona is you were on EastEnders.
Yeah.
And looking at that, I thought she was on for longer than that, you know?
Yeah,
such a
it felt like
concentrated period of time.
Yeah.
EastEnders, and so the public persona is, well, you're fine, right? But so what happened after?
Yeah, I think that's a perception for everybody that when you're on the telly, you're earning loads of money all the time, and it's great. And I was earning a good wage there. I've always lived in a council estates and things, so I'd never really had money. We'd never really been brought up with money. We'd never managed money very well as a family. When I was in EastEnders, you suddenly get this money, and I thought, I'm going to treat my friends and my family to holidays and things that we've never had. So I would just get money and it would just go, oh, hello, let's go to these countries and let's do this and let me buy my son this and he'd never have this. So it was kind of like it was frittered away. I had advice from some people to say, look, you know, rein it in a little bit. But you never know. You think you're going to be in there forever and ever. You know, you think you're going to be the lovely Steve McFadden there forever, and you're not. You don't know how long you've got, and that's the perception. You think you're there, but you move on. And sometimes you let that money sort of stretch, and it goes. And then if the jobs don't come in as quick as they were, then you just go, okay, this is running low. This is running low. And there is a circumstance that started this, which I can't actually talk about at this moment in time, but it started the spiral. And the only word I can use was I was conned of a humongous amount of money.
Really?
And then that led to the cancer thing, and it just kind of spiraled. And I was sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul, getting into debt. And it's so easy for people to give you money. That banks give you money, overdrafts, credit cards, loans, blah, blah, blah. And I think everybody knows this. They go, we can get by. If we just pay this, we'll find something to get that, it will work. They don't realise the interest rates are high, that all of this happens. Cost of living has happened, COVID happened. So I was stretching to the utmost. Sometimes claiming benefits when I was not well, but try not to, because, you know, there are people, I always see people and I think they're in a worse situation than me, so they need it more than I do. But it got to the stage where I was kind of going, oh, I'll just borrow that because I'm going to get a job. I know I'll get another job. They're going to
just double down,
beyond.
Don't you? Right? It's going to be all right.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and then you find yourself going, OK, I'm going to keep my skills up. I'm going to sing in my friend's restaurant. She wants me to sing. I'll sing in that. But then the perception is that you're lowering yourself by doing things like that. Or if you waitress or if you do something, it's not, you know, we all have to earn a living. We have to keep a roof over our head, food on the table. You know, the gas, electric, blah, 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 blah. But it's not easy. And if you've not been on the telly for a long time and people are going, why aren't you on the telly? And I go, well, it's not my fault. I go, you know, not me that makes that decision. I'd love to. And I'm very, very, very blessed.
Kind of hard to answer that question as well when people say it, isn't it?
It is. And, you know, they go, oh, you'd be really great. Because I live up north now, so you'd be really great in Coronation Street. You know, you could play this and you could play that. And you go, I could, because I'm called an actor.
Yeah.
Do what you like. You know, do what I like. But it's just other people's perception. Heather was such a great character that people, she's not easy to forget.
No.
Yes.
You know,
and she was in it for 5 years.
Yeah, and almost my life sort of paralleled her a little bit in some things, and including things like going to the food bank. That's the sort of thing that Heather would have done, I'm sure. And so it's weird to kind of know that what I portrayed is something that, you know, is happening to millions, as you said, millions. It shouldn't be happening, but it is. You know?
But I do think you're right, and that's also why Martin Lewis does so well on his show as well.
Is he not just brilliant?
He's brilliant, and the reason he is because he breaks down all these money issues for normal people that don't understand the economics of it and everything like that.
Yeah, I just wish he's got a wand, doesn't he? I just wish he would wand it everywhere.
He's brilliant. But the problem was, so you had that. You had a cancer diagnosis.
Yeah, and I had colleagues in EastEnders at the time when I couldn't, you know, pay my mortgage, couldn't do things. I mean, the lovely late great Barbara Windsor and Scott were getting checkbooks out and writing them to me to pay my bills. Steve McFadden was giving me places to recuperate with. Linda Henry was helping out. June Brown, everybody, you know, they were very, very, very kind and helped me out a lot and helped my family out. But it was. It just kind of carries on and you can't get out of it. And I think I ended up having to sell my house. I've sold my house. I've moved up north. I'm renting, you know, which in Britain, we see renting as quite a bad thing. But in Europe, everybody rents. Yeah. You know, so it's kind of like, it's your mindset. But I just want to stress that going to somewhere like the food bank, which to this day, I cannot get that image and what happened to me and that day out of my mind. It was so bittersweet. I was going to Citizens Advice to ask them, what can I do? This debt is just too much. I'm not sleeping. I'm not functioning very well. I'm not being, my spark had gone. And I went to Citizens Advice and I sat there with pieces of paper and I thought, I'm not a pieces of paper girl. I don't know what to do. And they sat and they went through it and they went through it and they said, what are you earning? What have you got? Down to the detail. And then she said, what are you doing for food? You got no money? You've actually got no money for shopping. And I went, I don't know. And then she said, come with me. And she took my hand, literally, and we walked through this door. This is in Kirkham, up north where I live. And there was these men and women with boxes and bags, and they were like little angel bees. That's all they were like. They were little angels, and they were bees. And it doesn't matter if they knew me or not. They never, ever showed it.
Kindness of strangers, isn't it?
Never showed it. And they sat me down, gave me a cup of tea. I started sobbing. I sobbed and thought, why am I here? Why am I here? I've been on the television. I've been in people's front rooms. I'm here now, and you hear these stories, and I've reported on these stories, and I've done these stories, but I am actually here now. And then they filled my bags up with food, and they asked me if I had an animal, a pet or a cat, a dog, a cat, and I said, yeah, I've got a dog, Rosie. And they said, OK, she needs to eat, so we'll get some food. So they got tins of food. And I think this is the bit that got me. I was sat there with a cup of tea, sobbing, with 4 or 5 bags of food. And the lady said, we've got all these tins of like celebrations and chocolates and things. What we do is we put some in bags, and you can go home and have a cup of tea, because there's tea bags in there, and just have a little chocolate and just have a little sit down and think, and it might help you. And I said, thank you. And then she went, and this is it. She said, I knew this was like in the spring. She just said, and here's a bunch of daffodils just to put on your table to make you just look at them and feel brighter.
Little act of human kindness,
I just thought, I don't even buy myself flowers, do you know what I mean? It's like, I was just thought, they have thought of everything. There was everything in those bags to make meals, toiletries, everything. And you just
Some special people.
They are special.
Cheryl,
They are
I just got a couple of questions, because
sure.
I think a lot of people are probably watching this, and it resonates with them, because you put it so well. Before you know it, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're spiralling into debt.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people who are... You've come out of rock bottom now, right? You're just about to start in Panto. You're on the way up, right? You've got it. So what would you say to people who are where you were, however many years ago?
I would say nothing is embarrassing. You talk about it, talk to the people closest to you who can help. Seek out the services. Services are there for a reason. They're there to help us. Just go to these people. It's not embarrassing. It's not shameful. It's nothing. You're going to have tears. You're going to have all those things. But you are helping yourself and your close loved ones, and you can't help those people unless you're okay in your mind with it, and you've got to get it straight. And watch Martin Lewis for a start. Get some advice from him.
And don't feel bad about going to food.
No, it's a stopgap, isn't it?
Yes,
it's like to save you.
I only ever went once, but it was once enough for me to go, oh my goodness, I really. If I have to go there again, I would.
Yes.
And I would talk about it again, and I would go there and say, thank you, you're amazing. And I have been back to say thank you, that they're brilliant. But it's just making it aware that there are groups, there are people, Trussell is another group that deals with food banks. Yeah, and you just go, come on, talk about it, go to them, they're a service. We shouldn't have food banks, to be quite honest with you, that's my opinion. But we have. We've got cost of living crisis, we've got all of these things. And these things are thrown around. But the reality is, I have delved down the settee and gone, oh, there's 50 pence. Yay! That's brilliant, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's done that. So, and I think it doesn't matter who you are, whether you've been on the telly, whether you're a politician, I'll tell you what, nurses use food banks. That, to me, is like, what?
Yeah.
They are going. We're going to the NHS. They're serving us and they're doing us a service. And at the end of the day, they go off their shift and they have to go to a food bank.
Yeah.
What is that about? But at the same time, they go.
Thank you.
It's brilliant.
Really
it's
Thank
brilliant
you so much.
We need to make awareness.
And actually, Martin Lewis has been listening. Martin, good morning. I mean, you talk about having rainy day money, I suppose, because, Cheryl had this diagnosis. She wasn't working on EastEnders anymore. No. And then, of course, we had the global pandemic too. Talk about a rainy day that no one saw coming.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I always talk about if you can have a cash emergency fund of 3 to 6 months' worth of bills put aside. But we need to understand in modern Britain we have a split society. And it's really interesting because you read reports in the papers, more people going on holidays and buying cars and everything else. In the pandemic, an extra £150 billion of savings was built up. But that we have a nation divided between those people for whom everything's gone relatively well over the last few years and those people for whom life has been decimated. And this is why, and people are in their own echo chamber. If you're in one, you can't believe that there are people in the other group, and that works both ways round. I think what Cheryl said is absolutely worthwhile. I have long been recommending people go to the non-profit debt counselling agencies like Citizens Advice, National Debt Line, Step Change. And the biggest feedback I get from people after they've gone to those places is, I slept last night. Because I have my 3 tests for debt crisis.
He's right.
The first one is, can you meet your minimum repayments on everything? Can you make just the very minimum on everything? The second one is, do you have more than a year's salary of debt? If you've got a year's salary's worth of debt or more, and I'm not talking student loans or mortgage, I'm talking other forms of debt, and you're not meeting your minimum payments, then you probably need to go and get debt help. And the third question, and probably the most important, is, are you struggling to sleep or having depression due to your finances? It is incredibly common. I mean, I don't want to build this up, but some people say to me, oh, it's just money. It is not just money. Money is at the core to the well-being in our societies. Through my Money and Mental Health Policy Institute charity, in England alone, and I need to be careful how I phrase this, 400,000 people, the last data we had, which is just over a year ago, contemplated taking their own lives due to their finances, and 100,000 people attempted it. It is not just money. Well, this is not something that we can allow in policy. It's absolutely at the core to our relationships, to a roof over our head, to our feeling of self-esteem. So looking after your money, managing, asking for help when you need it is so crucial. And Cheryl, well done for inspiring people and taking away the terrible stigma that shouldn't be there to asking for help. I applaud you for what you're
thank
saying.
you. But money's not a dirty word, Martin. No. It's not a dirty word. And then those that have money and those that have got it, fantastic. I think when you have it, don't take it for granted. Don't take the people around you for granted. And just be aware that there are people not in your circumstances you are in an amazing circumstance. When I'm working, I go, God, I'm so blessed to be doing the job I'm in. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's my sanity. And when your home should be your castle, and it should be your sanity, and the people around you should be your support. But some people haven't got it. No, they haven't got that. And it's help, kindness. We're called humankind for a reason. Humankind, just for sure.
That's so nice.
You were just talking about how amazing your job is when you have one, and you're in Panto. Where? When?
Yes, Peterborough from the 14th of December with my son.
Excellent.
We're doing Panto together. He's Buttons, I'm Cinderella. I'm Cinderella. I wish I was. Oh my goodness me! Oh,
no, you're not.
No, I'm a lovely old fairy.
Nice piece of casting.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you for
having me.
chatting
to us. Much for having
Martin will be talking to him a little bit later on. If Cheryl's story has struck a chord with you and you need support, all of the information you need is on our This Morning app.
Thanks, Cheryl. You can head to our website as well, itv.com/helplines.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. We certainly do have a long way to go, for sure. Samantha Fatts and Jay join us now.
Morning.
But what is so brilliant about this show, we do have a long way to go. I do agree with you. But it at least gets the conversation going. Is that one of the reasons you wanted to be a part of the show?
I think one of the biggest things that I get asked from my non-disabled friends and colleagues is, we don't want to put our foot in it. We don't want to say the wrong thing. It's not that we don't want to interact with disabled and neurodivergent individuals. It's just that we're all maybe a little bit too British and we don't want to upset someone. And I totally understand that. But I always say, you avoiding that uncomfortable disability taboo subject. A conversation is actually marginalising already a, marginalised group.
And I guess all three of you also, you can tell when someone is saying something, the motivation behind someone saying something, between an innocent mistake about how language evolves, for example, and someone who is, has got a bit of an edge to it, I suppose.
Yeah. So usually I find it's better to ask what kind of language they want to use on us, because I think a lot of the time, for example, the word, the M word, I'm going to say it, midget, is offensive to a lot of short stature people. And a lot of people don't know that. For a long time in school, people would make fun out of people with short stature, including me. And now it's known as to be a bad word. But a lot of people don't know it still. So it's all about asking the right questions as well.
Yeah. And I think that's what your show does so brilliantly. Like, Jay, we were talking this morning. I was watching the first show, and it had never even crossed my mind that doing dating apps would even be difficult, because basically I'm so old that dating apps weren't around when I was dating. But also, you tend to think of the physicality, like the difficulties you would face physically, but you don't think about it emotionally.
No, you don't. I think with the way that dating apps are now as well these days, everything's very accessible. So in terms of, you'll see it anywhere when you know, if you stream it and watch it on iTunes. But we do talk about like our experiences, even though that we've had very different experiences within dating and relationships.
And are those fun experiences?
It is quite hard.
Are those like, are some of those experiences, like, are they kind of like just war stories that you tell? Like,
oh, yeah. I think plenty.
Get those espresso martinis in here, come on.
Yeah, there's also a late night version
there is
of
a
this
late
show,
night version.
believe you me.
I think it goes from, you know, negative attitudes, so your insensitive, ableist ignorance that you often get, but also the practicality. So for me, I went through a phase of going out dating. I was like, come on, Samantha, you got to do this. I went out, but, you know, living in London, getting taxis everywhere, and then going on a date that A, didn't have an accessible bathroom, then going on the date and really not liking the person and thinking, oh, blimmin' it, paid for that now, and I now need to pay another 40 quid to get back in a taxi. And I was like, I couldn't physically do it anymore. You know? So there's so many different barriers that disabled people face. And it's so different depending on that individual. There's 1.3 billion disabled people globally. And I think we need to take that as face value. You know, get to know that individual. Yes, we may have our disability identity, but we're humans at the end of the day. You know, and our lived experience will be very different. All our lived experiences are very different. And that's what's been beautiful about the show, is that, yes, we all have this label disabled, but we're so different. And that's beautiful. You know?
But you know what was interesting watching the first one was thinking even of the safety aspect of it as well. Like, you'd have to think about how safe you were going to be on a date anyway, if you were going to... But then you guys have another layer to that as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been preyed upon by people who may, you know, like me purely because of my disability.
I was going to say the fetishization.
You say it again 3 times fast.
Is that even, did I get it right? Fetishization.
I don't know. You know, I know that we've all kind of experienced that. I've experienced it firsthand where people have targeted me, but they've not told me that actually they want to date someone who's maybe a wheelchair user or someone who is petite stature. And I think for me, it's more about consent. You know, I'm more than happy to explore someone's fetish if they want that, but tell me about it first. And I think what you said, Kat, is completely true. It's more about feeling safe as a disabled woman or a disabled person altogether, you know, and that's what hopefully, again, this show will highlight, is how you can be that strong ally and not necessarily constantly rely on disabled people to educate us. It needs to be a two-way street, and that's what's beautiful about Disability History Month. It's about learning and taking the onus away from disabled people a little bit.
I learned so much even in that
as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to be, as long as you go about it in the right, correct way, in the correct manner, ask all the questions, and, you know, you will get the answers. Like, this show for us is more of educating, but in a light-hearted manner, rather it all being, because we didn't want it to be like a pity party, did we?
No,
we wanted it like, you know, because sometimes disability is looked at in a negative light rather than a positive light. So
who does that reach, right? I mean, you know, because the last thing you want for this, I suppose, is just for disabled people to be watching. You need other, you know, like any form of History Month, like you need people, you need the wider message to be put out. How far do you think representation has come in the last 10, 20 years?
I think it's definitely come a long way, but there still needs to be a lot of work. To say that we are the first disabled-led chat show in 2024 is great, yes, but at the same time, it's like, why did it take so long? You know, kind of thing. But I'm happy.
Heading in that right direction.
We're heading in the right direction, which is exciting.
How easy was it to find the chemistry? Because so much about what happened, like, was there anything that you're like, okay, that's off topic, I'm not going to talk about that?
I'm getting the sense nothing was off topic.
The crew made us feel super comfortable, and it gave us the space and I feel like with these beautiful ladies, I felt so comfortable just expressing myself, and same with these two. They
we felt comfortable together, didn't we? And we all had like that safe space where we all felt like we can open up to each other. We got on really well, like straight away.
I think
like, it was just natural. The conversation flowed very well, didn't it? So.
They should have had cameras in the dressing room, put it that way.
It's always the place. It's always the place.
One thing that struck me, especially with you, Samantha, and Fats, is that just how the world has evolved. But at the same time, it's when you're at home, you're reading my notes, at home I'm just a normal person.
Yeah.
Everything is set the way I need it to be. It's only when you leave the house you're aware of disability.
So disability is essentially a social construct. Like, I'm disabled by the environment, so my home is completely adapted to me, so I'm self-sufficient. Yeah, of course I've got brittle bones, that's my condition, that's what I was born with. But in my home, I don't see myself as disabled. I've got, automatic windows and automatic front doors and, a kitchen that's lower counter. In fact, will be very similar. But as soon as I step out my front door and someone's blocked my, path with their car, or the lift is broken because someone's vandalised it, that's when I become essentially disabled.
Such a good turn of phrase, that, disabled by your environment.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And so many people say to me, I don't see you as disabled, but I'm in a disabling world. So, of course, I'm disabled. They just say, oh, I just see you as short. But me being short in a world where everything is not adapted to me, it disables me. So
See, we're getting take-home already?
You'll learn a lot from this season.
Yeah, you will. Series. But I love just watching you as three women chatting together as well. Yeah. It's absolutely brilliant. Amazing stuff. The first episode of Unfiltered Women is available now to watch on ITVX. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
That Christmas mark.
I know. Want the wine? Quick.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Listen, before all of that, what's with the pen?
I was like, let's get going.
So extra. I love it. Now, before all of that, it's panto season, I don't know if you know, it's literally around the corner.
Oh, no, it isn't. Rubbish.
Yes, it is.
Rehearse that with you.
Do you want to do it again?
Yes.
OK, let's go back to the beginning. Here we go. Before all of that, though, did you know panto season is just around the corner?
Oh, no, it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is. And
Jamie on camera too. Smash that. Yes, Jamie.
Oh, yes, it is. And who better to get us prepared than the most qualified man for the job?
Jefferson Parler is one of the first people who have completed a master's degree in pantomime.
And it's paid off. Since graduating, he has landed his first ever professional role as Simple Simon in Jack and the Beanstalk.
So ahead of the debut, Jeffrey's joining us now to share his journey and what he learned. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on, you two.
Nice is this your Simple Simon outfit you're wearing right now?
This is the Cadbury's double-decker Simple Simon outfit, yeah.
Oh, and this is a dream come true for you, isn't it?
It's been a dream since I was 6 years old. And
so where did it stem from? Where did this love of panto come from for you?
So it was my mum and dad taking me to the panto at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth every year. Yeah. And I remember Gary Wilmot doing his panto.
I mean, Gary was so amazing.
So funny. He still does it as well, doesn't he?
But, like, what a great entertainer. And, like...
He's captivating. And I remember watching him. And as soon as he came onto the stage and he said, "Hiya, kids." We go, "Hiya, Dick." He was playing Dick at the time. And it was just that moment when I behaved. That's when I went.
It's got a bit of panto already,
hasn't it? A little bit, hasn't it? Been on there for like 2 seconds,
I've
haven't we?
never seen this kind of stuff in Birmingham last year.
I know. We know what your panto's going to be like, Alison, don't we?
Well, why am I getting involved? Just tell me a story. Come on, come on.
And that's when I turned to my mum and dad and I said, "This is what I want to do."
Did you? At that young age?
That
you
young
just knew
age.
This is what I want to do.
Exactly. It was the ability of making people laugh with just a simple little pun, little joke, and just being around people that... Do you know what I mean?
It's something so captivating about pantomime when you were a kid as well, isn't there? Everyone remembers the first one, or remember Colchester Mercury, and then my auntie used to live in South London, so I remember the Wimbledon always had a big pantomime, so I remember going down I suppose yours must have been Birmingham.
Yeah, I used to love... My favourite pantomime was Cinderella.
Oh,
I loved a Cinderella. Are those the sort of characters you like the Buttons role? Is that the characters that you're drawn to?
It's the comedy characters. It's the ones that, you know, bring the kids in, play games for the kids, have that cheeky innuendo
I like
to the
those
mums
characters.
and dads.
They're the best. So, and the thing is, there's one thing you want to be in a panto. It's another thing to actually get into panto, isn't it?
It's tough. I mean, I was meeting the cast backstage every single year, asking them how they got involved. But back then, there was no training, there was no worthwhile opportunities, no mentorship. So how do
you get into panto then? How do you get a part in it?
Tough. I mean, a lot of the auditions I went to was, Jeff, very accomplished audition, but because you haven't had that experience, we don't want to take you on just yet. Which is it's sadder than that, Alison.
I bet you... Oh!
There we go.
The thing is, how can you get experience if they don't give you a chance?
Exactly, but that's when the Masters came up, and I thought this is an opportunity that I do not want to miss. So I grasped that, and then that's opened up the opportunity to so many castings. And
so, because it's a Masters, had you already done a degree in? You've been to drama school or anything like that?
Yes, so I trained in musical theatre.
Right.
I was an actor and a singer who could make it look like I could dance, but I was a terrible dancer. But it was always comedy and it was always panto.
Yeah.
So I learnt the basics of acting and singing, and I've been lucky enough to work as a singer and an actor for the last few years.
Right.
But it's always been panto. That's always been...
You just had your mind on that?
Yeah, that's always been a thing that was missing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the course? Was you quite impressed with it? I know it was £10,000. You got a scholarship.
I got a bit of money towards it, which was fantastic. It was a fantastic course because they catered to what you wanted to do. There was 4 of us on the course in total. One person wanted to go into writing, the other directing, the other did it for a bit of fun. So they catered the course to what you wanted to achieve. So for me in particular, it was comedy techniques, looking at comedy timing, looking at how to deliver like the ghost gag, the it's behind you gag, because that's all stock routines that require specific rehearsals.
That's mad, isn't it?
It was bonkers.
I didn't even know you could have a degree on panto. No one gave me a degree in panto.
You don't need it. You're the panto queen.
Oh,
Come
thanks,
on,
Bob.
you've got this.
Thank you.
Well, you didn't necessarily... It's not like you left and you got a job straight away, right?
No, not at all. And I think there's a sort of myth where you know, unless you're one of the very lucky ones, you graduate and go straight into a job. For me, I graduated a year ago yesterday, and I was still auditioning, I was still knocking on producers' doors, and I still wasn't getting anywhere.
That's crazy.
Until Ryan from Spark Life Pantomimes actually heard of the media attention that this story got, and had me in mind for Simple Simon, sent in a self-tape, and he offered me the job within 2 hours of...
See, all those panto producers now, they're all kicking themselves. They're watching you on this morning now. They're all kicking, we should have got him on our panto.
Next question for both of you. When do you start in the year on panto? Because you can start quite early in the year.
I'm starting on the 9th of December. What about you?
Yeah, so I start rehearsals on the 6th, but we don't actually open till the 20th. So we're quite late in comparison to some other...
It's unbelievable.
But the team starts super early,
Mm.
don't they? Like, the team will be at it sort of autumn or...
Probably. They're probably... Well, they're
Like
at
the
it now.
writers
They're
and stuff?
writing the scripts and everything like that because they want
Exactly.
They want to keep it updated as well and relevant.
And for the producers, it's a full year job because
Right.
they've got January, you've got what pantos are we doing this year? Who are we going to cast? Logistics, what's the set going to look like? What music can we use? Can we get the rights to the music? Also, it's popular music, so what's in the charts? What will kids like? And also, what will the adults like? So it is, for producers,
Epic
it's a
production, isn't it?
365 days.
Well, that's when I went to see Al last year. Like, you walk in and I knew it was going to be big, but it really took me back as to how, like, the bells and whistles, like
Yes,
the
yeah.
Giant and Jack and the Beanstalk.
You loved it, didn't you?
Oh, my God, it's incredible.
I could see you in the audience as well.
Loved it.
So you've got your big dream. Tell us where you're going to be.
So I'm going to be at the Corn Hall in Diss in Norfolk, which is actually where my dad grew up, which makes it kind of special.
Congratulations.
It's a nice town, Diss.
Thank you
as
so
well.
much. Beautiful.
You've got your
place.
dream. Are you going to do some exercises with us or something? What are you going to do with us?
Well, let's get you up on your
We
feet.
want to train in panto. Come on. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
You'd know
Give them a round of
better.
applause. Let's just give them a bit of encouragement. That's it. So, yeah.
Good luck around here.
So, Alison, I'm going to start with you.
Yes.
Okay.
What do I need to do?
This is the, oh, yes, it is, oh, no, it's not technique,
you were
okay?
born to-
So I want you to come up with, like, a statement. Maybe, like, I'm the best presenter on daytime television. Something like that, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I've got what I'm going to do.
Yeah? Yeah, you got this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did everybody know that Jefferson is in panto?
No, he's not.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, no, you're not.
Jamie's good, isn't he? He's really good.
Jamie's all over it. Camera 2. He's got this.
Very good. Give her a round of applause.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Thank you very much. Dermot, it's your moment.
Your turn.
Do I need
Come on up. OK, so this is called the "it's behind you" technique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
And your line is, "Oh no, it's not."
Yeah.
But
OK, I can do that.
we have got a very special guest to help us out with this one.
Oh, yeah.
OK, very good. OK. Cue in our very special guest. Here we come.
Oh, goodness.
Here we go.
Who's in there?
Here we go. So,
Who's that?
So, I want you to... there is a horse behind Dermot. It's behind you, Dermot.
Oh, no, there isn't.
Oh, yes,
there is.
Oh, no, there isn't.
Oh, yes, there is, Dermot. Look.
There's no way there's a horse behind you.
Oh, no, Dermot.
Brilliant.
Can the horse reveal themselves?
Reveal yourself, horse.
Oh, no. Don't sit
It's Vanessa.
Do you want to spend the morning with your head up Giles Brandress? And you know what the answer
We all
is?
do.
Yes,
When I talk out of my behind, people often say, "Who do you sound like?" And now we know it's Vanessa. But I think this is so wonderful, because pantomime is the only unique contribution from this country to world culture. No, but every other country's got ballet, opera, but we're the only people who've got panto.
Giles, have you done panto ever?
I have done panto. Baron Hardup in Cinderella. Barbara Windsor was the Fairy Queen. Bonnie Langford was Cinderella.
What a
Ryan
time to be
Conley was
alive.
Buttons.
Vanessa?
What about you, Vanessa?
Excuse me, the genie of the ring at Woking.
Oh, wow.
We've got John Inman as Widow Wanda Twankey and Gary Wilmot as Aladdin. Come on.
These were the
Come
glory
on.
days.
I know.
That was the time.
I know.
Well, listen, we've run out of time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, no, we haven't.
Thank you.
Good luck in Panto, Jeffrey.
Well done, mate. Good
thank
luck.
you so much, guys. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
very shortly. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
For all of that, 2 months ago, mum of 5, Alice Webb, tragically died after complications following a liquid Brazilian butt lift procedure carried out here in the UK.
The coroner stated the medical cause of death could not yet be confirmed as further investigation is needed. 2 people were arrested on suspicion of manslaughter and have been released on bail.
We're joined now by Alice's partner, Dane Knight, who's here alongside journalist Chris Summer-Horton, who's fronting a new ITVX documentary on non-surgical cosmetic procedures.
And we've also joined by cosmetic physician Dr. Manav Bauer. Thank you very much for being here this morning. Thank you. Good morning, Dane. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. Can we start off? Can you tell us a little bit about Alice? Who was she?
Who was she?
Yeah.
Well, she was a loving, caring mother of 5.
Yeah.
She was loved and adored by many in the community and beyond. Which that showed on, on her day when she was put to rest.
Well, listen, we're so sorry for your loss, mate. So what were your thoughts when you first heard she was going for the liquid?
I didn't know. Until obviously we had the call from the hospital to get there, which I think was, which is the scary part for most people or family members when someone goes for that kind of procedure. It can be secretive or it's done in privacy, and maybe they go without getting it done without people knowing.
Yeah.
Until it's too late. So it's. I didn't know it was too late until we got a call from the hospital.
Because obviously you hadn't spoken to her, had she done her research, do you know? Had she looked into it?
Yes, research was done. There was 2 types. As far as I know, excuse my terminology, there's the Turkey one, and then there's the UK one, the filler, and then the other one, as far as some were concerned, the UK one, the filler one, was safe.
Yeah. And what sort of person, was she the sort of person who would have taken risks, or you think exactly, right? So she would have done her research?
She would have done her research. She would have looked into it as much as she could have. She wouldn't have risked this.
No.
Even that 1%, chance, you know, of not seeing her kids again. She wouldn't risk that.
Yeah. And she has 5 children that she's left behind. But you want this to be a cause for change, don't you? What would you like to happen? I know you're pushing for a law called Alice's Law. Yeah.
2 things. I think I would hate to see another family go through. You know, more kids saying, you know, burying their mum.
Yeah.
Another partner burying their partner. Another mum burying their daughter, and so on and so forth. I know, such as Ashton Estate Faces have been trying to push this now for a long time, which we didn't know.
Yeah.
Because it is not common knowledge. And obviously now, you know, we're starting to learn more. You know, more stuff's starting to come to light, but it's just not common knowledge. More needs to be done.
Thanks, Dave. Let's bring in Cree. Obviously, the cause of death hasn't been confirmed, but and this is like you've been going down this rabbit hole for a while. So this raises questions around BBLs. Tell us about your research and the documentary.
I mean, I've been investigating this for over a year now, and it definitely begs the question as to if these procedures should even be done at all. For over a year, I've been speaking to victims who have luckily survived, and as we see in Dane's case here, these people are the lucky ones.
Yeah.
So when these procedures are advertised as safe, risk-free alternative, it's definitely not the case. And I think that the viewers at home need to know that it isn't safe, and people definitely need to do their research before
feels like the Wild West out.
It does. It really
is.
because you went undercover, didn't you? You were doing all your research, and actually, someone can be qualified to do this in just a day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't that shocking?
It's set up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I went on one of these training courses, and I think the red flags started before I even got there. They didn't ask me if I had any qualifications, any proof of experience. The thing that was really shocking when we got there was the fact that it was a house. It was advertised as a clinic. And there was only half an hour of theory before the first model arrives. Now, this model is an actual person. It's not a dummy. It's a person who's paid to be there, just at a discounted price. And you'll see in the documentary that it's actually so difficult to watch in the sense that she's in agony throughout the procedure.
Yeah.
She's in agony, and we show this footage to an actual surgeon, and it reduces him to tears. You know, it was described as a catalogue of hazards, and I just couldn't put it into better words. It was just so disturbing.
Before we go to Dr. Bauer, would you want regulation, or do you just think they need to be outright banned?
I mean, I spoke to Wes Streeting, who's the Health Secretary, and I think now's a really good time to point out that the previous government were looking into introducing something called a robust licensing scheme, which essentially would mean that these procedures would be categorised into red, amber and green. Right. Red being the most dangerous procedure.
All cosmetic procedures.
All cosmetic procedures, right? So red would be the most dangerous procedures like your BBLs, and that would mean that they would only be able to be performed by medical professionals. Yeah. So I took that to Wes Streeting, and you'll see in the documentary, to see if this government is looking to do something similar and if there's a time frame. The frustrating thing is that he couldn't give me a time frame. He assured me that he is looking into this. The really sad thing about it is the lack of urgency.
Yes.
And I think that that's the thing that is quite frustrating for everybody involved, isn't it?
Let's bring in Dr. Bauer. Thanks for joining us, Doctor. Can you just explain exactly what is a liquid BBL and how it differs from a surgical procedure?
Yes, absolutely. And firstly, Dane, I'm really sorry to hear of your loss. It's tragic.
Thank you.
And the difference between a BBL, so a liquid BBL, is when we take a soft tissue filler or a dermal filler and we use that and inject it into the buttocks to volumize. Now, when we use this type of dermal filler in the face, and we do it very safely, but the amount of volume that is put into the buttock region is very, very high, up to 1 liter for each buttock at a time. And just to give you some perspective, let's say if I'm doing a treatment for a nose using dermal filler, I'll use maybe 1/2 ml. So you can see it's very, very high volume. Now, compared to the surgical BBL, that's when fat is taken using liposuction and transferred into the buttocks to, again, create that volume and contour.
And what are your concerns here, you know, as a professional and, you know, working in the clinic?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is safety for patients and being treated in an unsafe space where there is no sterility is the first problem. Also, anatomical knowledge. So as you guys just mentioned, people can go on a one-day course and then set up a clinic in their own home. Now, what happened recently in 2018 were one of the plastic surgical bodies, BARBs, they said that even plastic surgeons shouldn't be doing the surgical BBL because of the risks. And what they did in 2022 was to give further advice that these treatments should only be done in a proper theatre, in a hospital, under ultrasound guidance. So you can see the problems that can occur. And so going back to safety, understanding the anatomy of the region, and the volume that people are putting in, it's just, it can be a disaster, as we've seen.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Bauer.
Thank you, Bauer.
And I think the biggest thing that you can take away from this is do your research. I know that it's not conclusive yet, what the coroner has found. We have to wait for those results, but we are sending you all our love. And thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. Oh, it's really shocking still, isn't it? Well, Michael Burke, who presented that infamous report, is here with us now, and Dame Claire Birchinger, the nurse we just saw featured in that report, joins us live from her home in Switzerland. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you both. Good morning. Michael, even 40 years on, that was in 1984. I was 8 years old when I saw that. And we watched it last night, didn't we, with the two of us?
It's bizarre. When you do watch it, it all comes back to you. Like, it must have gone in, because I was 10.
Yeah, you remember it. You almost get a visceral reaction to it. How do you feel watching it now?
I don't know. It's very difficult because it takes you back, you know. And I suppose it's the things that you didn't experience watching it on TV. It's the smells. It's the background sound, the groans, and you know, it all. Yeah, it awakens memories that have never gone away, I suppose.
Yes.
How long did you actually stay out there, Michael? How long was the process of doing that report? Because I know it was actually, that report was off the back of a previous report, wasn't it?
That's right. We'd been in Ethiopia earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And we'd done a piece about hunger and starvation and war that had created quite a stir. Everybody's forgotten about that now. And a lot of money was raised on the back of it. And we actually, our impetus was to go back and see how that money was being spent. We didn't know that the situation there had tipped over from a crisis into an absolute catastrophe for lots of reasons. There was a couple of wars going on. They were celebrating the anniversary of the overthrow of the old Emperor Haile Selassie and so on. So actually, people weren't able to get out of the capital. People weren't able to see, or most people weren't able to see what was going on. We didn't know what we were going to see.
Was it as bad as you anticipated? Or did you expect it to be a better situation than it was? When you first walked into that hell, the closest thing to hell on earth, what went through your mind?
Well, it was obviously 1,000 times worse than we ever imagined. We thought the situation was serious, but you know, particularly in Coram, we filmed in two locations: Mekelle, where Claire was, and a place called Coram. And we arrived there after dark, and we got up before dawn, and we drove a little way out of Coram to where we knew the people were, and it was pitch dark. We couldn't sense. You could sense there were enormous numbers of people with the groans and all that, but you couldn't see them. And it's on the equator, so dawn comes up like that, as if somebody's switched on a light, and there were 40,000 starving people.
I can't imagine it.
Just there, you know. And as soon as it became light, they started bringing the bodies of those who died in the night and laying them out in front of us, not because they knew we were there or we were filming or anything, because it was the only empty patch of ground. and they were all wrapped in these cloaks, like winding sheets, you know, and you could see the faces, and just row after row after row of people who'd died during the night. I mean,
Beyond.
a more overwhelming, you know,
Yeah.
sight you couldn't imagine.
Yeah, and someone else who was there on the front line was Dame Claire. We saw her there in that report. And Claire, you had, I think, one of the toughest jobs of all, essentially, because it came down to you as to who you offered help to, because help was in such short supply and there wasn't enough to treat everybody. As Michael said, there were 40,000 people there. You didn't have enough supplies to be able to treat everybody. So it was down to you who got the chance to survive and who didn't.
Yes, it was a horrendous experience. And I can remember one day in particular, I was running a feeding centre for 500 children. And this particular day, I discharged some, so I had 60 or 70 places to select some more children. And I remember counting 10 rows of children outside, excuse me, and in each row there was over 100 children. And how am I going to choose out of over 1,000 children? I could only take 60 or 70. And they were all skin and bones, just the skin dripping off their bones, no fat, no muscle left at all. And I knew the ones that I didn't take would die within the next few days, and 10 days or so. I knew that. And so I went up and down the road. It was decided when we discussed it among ourselves with the local, I was working with the local Red Cross volunteers, and I went up and down the rows, and it was decided I'd have to take the ones with a bit of spark of life in their eyes, because those who were terribly bad, they would just die within the night. And that's how you chose. But all the rest, it was terrible. And you knew they would die. So I felt dreadful. I've always remembered the ones I didn't save.
But you've got to remember the people you did save as well, Claire. And if you wasn't there, no one would have been saved. I always wondered, how did you cope with it? It is 40 years on. What coping mechanisms did you implement into your life?
Well, now I dedicate my life to promote peace, culture and education. And I'm a Buddhist. I'm a member of the Soka Gakkai Buddhist order. And that's what I dedicate my life to now.
I know you didn't even speak about it for 20 years, but you did go back after 20 years. What change did you see?
Oh, change was after 20 years, we went back. Michael Burke asked me to go back. I didn't want to go back. I thought I'd be vilified, but actually I went back, and there was new roads, new hospitals, universities. It was absolutely wonderful. And some of my children who I had fed and many of them had got degrees and got qualified nurses, doctors, lawyers. One of them called Gurmai, he'd opened a little photocopy shop, which was a shop. It was a bit of a shack, but it was wonderful. And Gurmai was one of the ones I remember, or he remembered me. And when the team said, well, want to introduce you to one of the children that remembered you, Claire, I thought, all white people look the same, all women and things. And then we started talking, and he said, we went back to the area where the feeding centre was. And he said, I remember you. He called me Mama Claire. Yeah, I remember you, Mama Claire, because over there, you had these great big oil drums which filled with water, and then they put this pink, it was potassium permanganate in it, but not used nowadays, by the way. And because they were all covered in scabies, I mean, really bad scabies in the hands and the groins and the feet and everything. So we used to put the children inside these oil drums and soak their skin, and then we used to wash their hands with soap to help open and remove the scabies. And he said, Mama Claire, you didn't wear gloves. Everybody else wore gloves, but you didn't wear gloves. Yeah. And I thought, wow, yes, I didn't wear gloves. And I was the only one, because you're meant to wear gloves because it's infectious. So I thought, he really does remember me. And that's Gurmai. Wonderful. Lovely. Yeah. Fantastic.
It's that human touch, isn't it? But I think that your report was really the catalyst for the change, because I think...
well, actually, Claire was the catalyst as far as Bob Geldof was concerned.
Right.
I mean, he saw the reports and he was obviously engaged by them. The thing that really hooked him was Claire and this kind of having to make these life and death decisions over children. And my stupid question, what does that do to you? In fact, we've talked about this subsequently. I thought she was an angel. She thought I was a prat, and we were both right, But it was that element that particularly hooked Geldof and engaged him on all that, and Live Aid and all that flowed from it, I suppose.
Cut to now. Over £200 million raised later, and what Claire was saying about the difference that it made.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was more than that. I mean, everybody homes in on Live Aid, which was the biggest shared experience in human history. That concert.
Yeah.
But actually, the reports also changed the policies of governments. It actually $1 billion. It's the biggest rescue operation in history. So. An awful lot flowed from that.
Yes, but it was everybody at home just even picking up the phone and donating. It was internationally.
It was absolutely, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, and it was actually 8 and 10-year-old kids who got involved.
Was it?
People like you.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Well, the remix is out. Have you listened to it? What do you think? But you think you're in it, aren't you? The report's in it.
Yeah, I'm playing bass. Yeah, well,
40 years, unbelievable.
40 years.
It is, isn't it?
Thank you so much for sharing your story. And Dame Claire, can I just say, is it true that Burnham, who was one of the first children, she actually named her child after you? Is that true?
That's right, yes, she named her first child Claire, little Claire.
How lovely is that?
I've been back to see them as well. They're wonderful, lovely.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, there she is, right there.
There she is.
What a difference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thanks, Dame Claire, and thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
The new remix of the Band-Aid single is out on the 25th of November. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Jessie and Molly joining us now. Thank you so much. I mean, that looks so frightening.
Oh, my Lord.
It's absolutely unbelievable. But Jessie, let's start off with you, because obviously you lost your eyesight quite early on in your life. But what I love about you is the fact that you've lost your eyesight, that doesn't necessarily define who you actually are, does it?
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. I think I'd always rather people judge me on, the decisions I've made rather than, the hand of cards that fate dealt me. I think it's probably a better way of doing it, isn't it?
So what did you notice when you were younger? What was going on?
So I reckon it was probably about 15 when I kind of realised, well, my eyesight's never going to get any better than this, and it's probably going to go downhill. And I guess that was like a bit of a wake-up moment for me, kind of having to come to terms with that. And when I was younger, my eyesight was kind of terrible. But it was like fairly stable right up until the point, right through school and university. And then it was in the first year of my PhD that it really started to deteriorate. Right. But the drop-off was pretty slow. So it's not like you could see one day and then you were blind the next. You'd only notice over a longer time period.
Quite gradual.
Yeah, you go home during the summer holidays and God, I used to ride my bike around here, and obviously that's not happening now. And then it got to the point where, I couldn't read anything, and I hold my hand out here and I can't see my hand. It's a bit weird, to be honest, because I know what my hand looks like from when I used to be able to see, and I can imagine it, and I know when I'm wiggling my fingers, but I still can't see my hand. And obviously, when I'm climbing, can't see any of the handholds, can't see any of the footholds, can't see any of the gear.
Wow.
So,
and that's where Molly comes in.
Yeah,
so what's your condition actually called, Jessie?
So the umbrella term is rod cone dystrophy. So the light-sensitive cells at the back of my eye are basically crumbling away into little breadcrumbs.
OK, but you were always into climbing.
Yes.
And you started climbing at a very young age, and you were actually very good at it. Naturally, you were great at it.
Sure, yeah. My usual thing is I didn't get a choice, is my usual joke, because my dad took me climbing when I was 2 years old. So,
so there was no choice in the matter.
No choice in the matter.
You were climbing whether you liked it or not.
But yeah, then I started leading. I think I led my first route when I was 11. So.
Wow, that's so young.
Yeah.
And then obviously you met this beautiful lady at university. Yeah. Was you into climbing as well? Did you meet at a climbing club or something like that?
Yeah, so I was climbing before I went to uni as well. And then, we met. I think we were getting on the minibus for to go onto a climbing trip. And that's where I first remember meeting Jessie, and yeah.
Just developed from there, really.
Yeah.
So tell me, how does it work? Because it's so funny when you watch the documentary, when you're doing the really, really scary stuff where you're literally going up almost like a vertical rock face. I mean, it's like you're Spider-Man, essentially. You almost forget that you're blind because you're doing it so amazingly well. But at the beginning of the documentary, you're kind of doing run-of-the-mill average things and answering your phone and doing things like that. And then, of course, you suddenly realise, gosh, you really are blind.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to make climbing look so easy?
Quite a lot of practice, I think, is the main thing. So I think I'm very good at having a 3D awareness of where my body is in space.
Right.
And you don't get any extra information. It's not like your ears get more sensitive when you lose your eyesight, but you learn to pay attention to your other senses. And that sense of balance and your having proprioception, having where your body is in 3D space is really important. So, for example, I'll be climbing up and I'll use a hold for my hand and I'll remember where that hold is in 3D space. So that in 3 moves' time, I can stand on it with my foot.
Wow.
And once I've touched it, I can kind of put my foot straight on it. So there's all these little kind of tricks and tactics that you pick up over the years that kind of help to hide the fact that I can't see.
Wow. There's moments, Molly, where you actually can't see where Jessie is. That must be so frightening for you. I mean, that's your partner, that's the person who you love. He proposed to you on a mountain. Do you know what I mean? This is the man you've got to protect. What's it like in that moment where you can't see what he's doing?
Yeah, so it can be pretty scary. Obviously, you can start up and then climb around a corner. He's just completely out of view. And I've just got to trust that he can find his way and make himself safe. Because obviously I climb up after him. So if he can't find anywhere to make himself safe, that's obviously not great for me.
That's putting both of our lives at risk.
Wow.
So it's down to, yeah.
So, Molly, explain to me the procedure, what you normally do before a climb, when you're climbing, how it actually works as you guide him.
What you're saying.
Yeah. So you might be quite surprised that I don't actually say that much while he's climbing. So obviously when you get to the rock face, I kind of describe what it's like, what the scenery is like, what the the line of the route, whether it goes up a corner or a crack or left or right, just kind of general. And then once he sets off, he's not on his own because we wear radios, so we can talk to each other.
Oh, you've got the radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he kind of feels his way like most of the time. And I guess if I can see, he might be finding it hard, and that's when I kind of interject and say, oh, maybe feel out to your right, there might be something out there. But a lot of the time he's, on his own doing it.
I think the big thing is being able to find the places to put the gear in.
Right.
We'll always stand at the bottom and Molly will look up and she'll go, right, you're going to get some gear in that crack and then you're going to go over there and then you're going to get something in there. You can't tell what size from the ground, but you can kind of spot the opportunities where you're going to right, we're going to target getting some gear in there. That's going to protect me for this bit. Then I'm going to go there,
It's absolutely fascinating.
You have to trust each other so much for it as well.
Yeah.
Does anything ever go through your mind,
I think there's only been one route that I've kind of sent him up, and I regretted it because he found every move hard. It seemed super dangerous, and I was just really scared.
Does he listen to you in real life as well?
Taking directions off your wife. I don't know how many people do that.
You do, Jessie. But you can really tell that this is your happy place. You absolutely love it. Climbing Blind 2 is online from the new year. We're very excited about seeing it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.